Welcome to the Sublime Soiree. I'm Sue, and today we're going to be talking about our number one VIP guest, our spouses. I'm going to introduce you to my spouse. This is Doug.
And I'm Linda, and this is my husband, Dave. Now, Sue, you and I have heard a quote twice now since we began the Sublime Soiree. The first time we heard it was on February 1st, and that's when we interviewed Leanne Brisbane, and you can check out that interview on our YouTube channel, The Sublime Soiree. But we've also heard it a second time now, and that was with Dr. Don Litchie, who we will be airing that interview on May 31st. But we want to tell you what that quote is, and the quote is, "The couple that prays together, lays together, and plays together stays together." So we wanted to share with you today the ways that we live intentionally in those ways with our spouses.
So, Linda and I have created a comprehensive list that we will post to our blog this week, thesublimesoiree.org. But we thought we would do just a real version today with our husbands over the few categories of pray, lay, play. And so, Doug, if I were to ask you a question, what one of those areas would you like to talk about? Like that helps us be intentional?
Good question, Sue. I'll start with the easy one, and that would be play together, because we love to do that, and we have quite a bit of fun as we navigate life, and we like to keep things exciting and vibrant, and so a lot of times we're trying to come up with new ideas of fun things to surprise each other. But I would say the number one thing right now that we love to do together is go for rides in our little 1975 MGB convertible. And we love to go out and explore in the area and just go for a nice leisure drive on a Sunday afternoon and maybe stop for an ice cream or lunch or something along the way. And we've had a lot of great time and memory just driving around the countryside together.
I love that, Doug, because the neat thing about that is not everybody has a 1975 MGB, but most people have a vehicle that they could hop in together and just go out for a drive, stop for some ice cream. That is such a budget-friendly way to really just have a lot of fun together and get connected with each other, and I just think that's really neat. So, Dave Maynard,
Yes.
what would your favorite topic be, and what are one of the best ways that you think we pursue intentionality together?
Well, I think that really all three that you just talked about are really, really important in a marriage. And I like Doug. We love playing, love coming up with creative ways to find new things to do with our time together, especially as we approach the empty nester portion of our life where we have a lot more time to devote to each other. So playing is definitely fun, and finding ways to explore the outdoors, and of course an occasional trip to the ice cream stores is always fun. But
I don't turn you down on that.
never. But also, we talk about praying, and while praying, is really, really important in a marriage, and something that I think, is, as we raised our kids, very intentional early on with just having dinner on the dinner table and praying, and I think as we've gone through our life journey together, I mean, there have definitely been times where we've really have relied on prayer to just navigate the ups and downs of life. So
For
finding
sure.
those times to where we pray together intentionally have been really powerful parts. As I look back at our life, those are times where I think God really does work.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. How about you guys? Any other thoughts?
Well, I capitalize on what you said, Dave, about prayer. We're good at playing together, and we're good at laying together, And we do pray together, but it's probably something we need to do a little bit more work on as we continue through life. But there have been very impactful times that we do pray together, and certainly over every meal in the privacy of our own home and even out in public, we're good at that. But I can remember some very pivotal times in our lives where we, went to the Lord in prayer, and that was quite bonding, to be quite honest about it. But so yeah, playing and laying and praying together. I was just when we were sitting here thinking about this, I was just thinking one of the things that we love doing is riding our bicycles.
Yes.
And actually, one of the highlights of our fun times together has been our trip to Cleveland
Yes.
on our bikes,
Yes.
where we would ride from Akron to Cleveland, and then we would overnight camp at the Hilton, as we call it, and then the next day we would ride back, and that's been a tremendous amount of fun. Challenging, just a great time out in nature to see God's beauty. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think the big thing for me with that was just the receptiveness of both Linda and Sue to go up to that challenge of getting on a bicycle and riding that far for an overnight. So that was a huge lot of fun.
But Sue, I don't know if that was the hardest part of the bike ride, of the trip. I don't know if it was the bike ride. I think it was when they challenged us to make sure that what we took with us to change into post bike ride had to fit
In a bag.
right
like
in a
this.
bag. That
Yes.
For our bike.
that's a challenge. So,
Yes.
but we rose to the challenge.
We
We did
did.
it, you
Right,
guys.
right.
We did.
And you guys looked great at dinner that night.
Yeah, we were exhausted and we hurt everywhere, but doggone it, we looked good.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
How about you, Sue? Do you have any thoughts about ways that you really like to be intentional with your
Yeah.
spouse?
I think with Doug's travel, he travels a fair amount, that we have to be super intentional with our calendar and planning so that we do spend quality time together. So usually a couple of weeks out, we go through that and we know ahead of time. We have some touch points. We have been married for almost 26 years, and this is the second marriage for us. And one of the things we decided early on was that we were going to be super intentional with making date nights a priority. So we did Friday night date nights ever since our kids were little.
Right.
Now it's more Saturday as we're empty nesters.
Sometimes
but
Friday and
sometimes
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Sunday too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's been fun, but I think again, just being intentional, and it's a word we've talked about a lot on this on this show. But how are we intentional? How about you?
So I think one of the neat things, so the really neat thing about this airing is that it's airing just a few days after you and I are celebrating our anniversary. And Dave, I'm going to quiz you over the World Wide Web and ask you, how long have we been married?
I do know the answer to that question.
I'm so glad. What is it?
32 years.
It is 32 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And I think one of the neat things that we have done, not every year, but we've done it a fair amount of times, is we've done a pray and plan weekend where we took Luke, I think it's 2:52, that says, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and favor with God and with man. And we took apart those wisdom and stature and favor
Right.
words, and we looked for ways. We prayed over it, but we also wrote down and tried to plan out ways that we as individuals, as a couple, and as a family could grow in those areas, mentally, physically, spiritually, and relationally.
Right.
So those have been really neat times too.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, Linda. I mean, those, they're hard sometimes because just sitting there and trying to plan out and especially if you're not a planner. But the neat thing about that is actually looking back. And I remember we would put together a plan, and sometimes we'd think and dream about 5 years, 10 years out, and to put some things down, and then going back and finding, wow, a lot of those things that we talked about and planned, things we actually did. So I do think that God intends us to do that, and that's just a great another opportunity for us to stay connected and to really talk about our dreams and our plans. And but yeah, so I think that for sure was definitely something that I enjoyed and
Begrudgingly at first.
At
Let's
first,
just
yeah.
say it.
that was a little tough at first, but as I saw how really that allowed us to really focus on what we needed to do and how we needed to spend our time. So I think that definitely is. I would agree with you there.
Kept us
Yes.
centered.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
for
good
sure.
that you guys could do that, because our tip would be try not to go away and plan too much, because it takes away from the fun. So we've learned to plan at an alternative time when we're not having fun, because we
Yes.
used to do that, go away and hit a lot of different subjects.
Right.
And by
Right.
the end you were like, whew, I'm tired.
Right.
I need to go get a break. But it's so powerful when you have a plan. And
Yes.
we've even done that as couples.
We have.
We have in February, I think 2 different years now, we've said, what are some things we want to grow in as individuals, as couples, with Bible study, with exercise, with doing things, and how that's been really good too, just to
Yes.
keep each other accountable and something to talk about and look back. And
Yeah, it's fun to look ahead and then also to look back and see, hey, we might not have hit 100%, but we
Right.
hit it. We hit
Yes.
several things.
Yes.
So we know we made forward motion, and that's always a good thing. So we don't want to completely exhaust the list on this video. We do want you to go visit our blog at thesublimesoiree.org. However, we are going to just give you a little bit of a hint of some more play time that we experienced together as couples. And Dave, you actually have a visual aid of the fruit of our playing
Well, yes.
very recently.
Yes.
What did we do?
Well, last weekend, actually for Christmas, Linda got me a gift certificate to a glass blowing class. And so last Saturday, with actually Doug and Sue, we went to Chagrin Falls and we attended a glass blowing class. And this is a card holder, so I can put my business cards into this holder. And it was actually a lot of fun. Clearly I'm not this creative, so I did get a lot of help along the way to make my piece of art. But really a great time to get out and play a little bit and just do something that we've never really experienced before, and it was just a fun time.
It was fun.
Yes.
It was fun. And we can't take any credit for it because really it was the wonderful brainchild of Sue here.
well, thank you. It was fun to be together. We made it. We've done that a lot. Done
Yeah.
some
It
intentional dates.
Yes.
Yeah, so you will stay tuned and watch a little bit of our footage from that event, which was last Saturday. And in the meantime, this week, we will be talking more about the guest list. Look forward to our interview with the foster and
Yes.
adopt group. And they're going to be talking about what it looks like to be a father to the fatherless.
And to
And-
welcome the orphan into your home. Yes. Yeah, so do stay tuned for the different items we're going to be sharing with you on thesublimesoiree.org, but also stay tuned so that you can see how to welcome the orphan. And then, as we already mentioned, you'll be hearing from Dr. Don Litchie at the end of the month. So we hope you'll stick with us. And in the meantime, may your week be sublime and free above the fray.